Hello there! Not too long ago, I was working at a startup in San Francisco. Staying SF long enough and taking Uber rides becomes a very common thing. If you're not familiar with Uber, it's an app service that allows you to book rides. Uber drivers are regular citizens who just drive you around in their own car. But depending on which city or country you're living in, Uber can be significantly cheaper than taking a taxi. And no, this is not a sponsored video. I just want to share my story. So it's nighttime, and I book an Uber ride to my relative's place. Oh, here comes a ride! Right as I open the front passenger door, I see a pizza box sitting on my seat. I was taking Uber Pool, which is where you share rides with other people, and I was thinking, oh, maybe it's the guy who's sitting behind me, maybe it's his pizza. The driver's like, oh, I'm sorry. He takes the pizza box and puts it on his lap. He opens the box and grabs a slice of pizza, and he starts eating it and driving it at the same time. So there he is, and I'm thinking, well, he must be really hungry. I'm just gonna try to understand what he's up to. But then again, why didn't he just take a break instead of driving and eating at the same time? So after a couple minutes, I'm starting to get used to this scene. The longer I'm in that car and the live, I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is safe enough. So me, the driver, and the passenger who's sitting behind me, somehow we get into the topic of what we all do for a living. One of those typical conversation starters. I don't remember what the other passenger does for a living, but my driver, he says he works at a school and helps kids with special needs. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe they're like handicapped kids or, special education children. And I was like, oh, that's very sweet. And then my driver says these kids threatened to kill him. He told me a couple stories, and one of the kids, they actually brought a gun to school after threatening to shoot him. So as the drive progresses and the guy is still eating the pizza and driving, my driver reveals that he used to be in a gang, but not anymore. At first, I'm like, you know what? I'm in this situation. Instead of being freaked out or scared, I might as well learn a couple street smarts from this dude. So my driver, he tells me which streets to never to walk on in SF. The driver starts talking about the kind of ghetto areas of NorCal where all the gangs were. And then he was like, well, because all the startups and all this tech stuff is going on, it's cleared up a lot. So my Uber driver, he talks about housing projects, and there's like an infamous one in Chicago called Cabrini Green, I think it was. And all of a sudden the other passenger, he's like, oh, I've been there once. So other guy, let's call him Alan. It's not his real name, I'm just making it up right now. For Halloween, Alan dressed up as a pimp and went to a pimps and hoes party. He met some people at the party and then he went party hopping. So it was 5 a.m. in the morning and he walks out of the last place he's partying at, and it turns out he was at Cabrini Green. Him and his friend, they were freaking out because they're like, oh dude, like we're dressed up as pimps in this neighborhood. We already don't look like we belong here, so someone's gonna jump us or someone might even kill us. Because it was so early in the morning, they didn't see anyone else on the street. So they're like trying to look cool enough, but like still trying to get out of the Cabrini Green housing ASAP. Not too far away, there are some cops. The cops go to them and they're like, psst, we're handcuffing you. We're gonna drive you out of this place because this place is not safe for you. You will get killed if you stay here. The cops handcuff them because they're not allowed to give rides to anyone unless they're handcuffed or caught for whatever reason. So the cops handcuff Alan and his friend and drive them out of there. So during this whole ride, we're talking about gangsters and like housing projects and all this like kind of ghetto stuff. So the Uber driver, he's still eating his pizza with one hand, and the other hand, he's driving. And he's talking. He's doing 3 things at the same time. And all of a sudden, up ahead on our lane, there's a Christmas tree flat on the ground. I took this ride in like January, which explains why there is a Christmas tree out and about. I mean, this Christmas tree, it's like apparently right there. So I'm assuming the driver saw that and he's calculating a good time to switch out of the lane. But I wait and wait and wait, and we get closer and closer to that Christmas tree. I'm like, and I tell the dude, I'm like, there's a Christmas tree there. And he's like, whoa, and then he just changes out of the lane. He was like, I did not see that. Thank you for telling me. And to be honest, I was more scared of his driving more than him because he seemed like a very friendly person. You would never have guessed he's part of a gang before. So once I was dropped off at my relative's house, I was like, whew, I made it. Dear relative, let's go out and celebrate. I'll buy all the drinks on me. I survived this ride. I mean, that Christmas tree just topped it all off. I mean, it was so random. What was that Christmas tree doing on the road? Why didn't someone take it out of the road? But no, it's just sitting there where there's a lot of vehicular traffic. I would have to say this is one of the most memorable Uber rides I've ever experienced. It was a combination of scary, educational, and funny. One of the beauty of Uber rides is you get to meet other people you normally would not meet otherwise. And you're stuck in a car with them and you have no idea how much longer you're gonna hang out with them, because depending on the traffic and like the location of where you're going, you might have 2 minutes left with them or 10 minutes left with them, or sometimes even a full hour. And I'm thinking about doing another mukbang very soon. So let me know what you think I should eat. Put in your requests. I will see what's around this area. Do you happen to want me to try anything from Veggie Grill? I know I'm like Veggie Grill, Veggie Grill, Veggie Grill a lot, but that's because it's one of the few vegan restaurants around here. Alright, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's daily vlog. Bye bye!